The battlefield was eerily silent, save for the howling wind that carried the scent of blood and steel. Bodies of fallen warriors lay scattered across the crimson-stained grass, their lifeless eyes reflecting the pale moonlight. At the heart of the carnage stood a lone figure, his dark robe fluttering against the cold breeze. He was motionless, his piercing gaze fixed on the enemy before him. The man's name was Xianliang, a warrior whose legend had long been whispered across the land. Across from him stood the warlord Baizhan, a tyrant whose cruelty knew no bounds. His armor, dented and scratched from countless battles, glistened under the flickering torchlight. His men, though weary, still surrounded him, their faces etched with fear and determination. They had come to end Xianliang, to snuff out the last glimmer of hope for the people who had suffered under Baizhan's rule. Xianliang exhaled slowly, his grip tightening around the hilt of his sword. But this was no ordinary blade. It was the Zhanlu divine sword, an artifact of immeasurable power, forged in the flames of an ancient celestial forge. It had lain dormant for centuries, waiting for a master worthy of wielding its might. And now, in this moment of reckoning, it had chosen Xianliang. The moment his fingers curled around the hilt, an energy surged through his veins, igniting his soul with an ancient power. The sword hummed with a low, resonating sound, as if whispering secrets of battle long forgotten. Baizhan sneered, mistaking Xianliang's stillness for hesitation. He raised his massive war axe and let out a guttural roar before charging forward, his men following closely behind. Xianliang did not move. His mind was calm, his body perfectly still. The Zhanlu divine sword pulsed in his grip, sensing the impending strike. When Baizhan was mere inches away, Xianliang moved with a speed beyond mortal comprehension. The blade gleamed in the darkness, and in a single, fluid motion, he slashed through the air. A blinding arc of light erupted from the sword's edge, illuminating the battlefield with an ethereal glow. Baizhan's charge halted abruptly. His men froze in place, their weapons slipping from their trembling hands. A deep silence followed, broken only by the whisper of the wind. Baizhan staggered, his eyes wide with disbelief. A thin line of crimson appeared across his chestplate, and within seconds, his body split apart, severed by a force beyond his comprehension. The tyrant's lifeless form crumbled to the ground, and with him, the will of his army shattered. One by one, his men dropped their weapons and fell to their knees, surrendering to the overwhelming power they had just witnessed. Xianliang sheathed the Zhanlu divine sword, its glow fading into a soft shimmer. He turned away from the battlefield, his task complete. The war was over, and the land would finally know peace. As he walked toward the horizon, the whispers of the wind carried his name, ensuring that the legend of Xianliang and the Zhanlu divine sword would never be forgotten. For days, the remnants of Baizhan's army wandered in a daze before disbanding entirely. Word of the tyrant's defeat spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of oppressed villages and hidden resistance groups. The news ignited a wave of celebration, and people who had long lived under Baizhan's cruel reign finally dared to dream of a better future. Xianliang, however, did not join in the revelry. He continued his journey, traveling from village to village, ensuring that no remnants of Baizhan's influence remained. The people welcomed him as a hero, offering gifts and feasts in his honor, but he never stayed long. His path was one of duty, and the weight of the Zhanlu divine sword reminded him that his mission was far from over. One evening, as he rested beneath an ancient willow tree, a soft voice called out to him. He turned to see a young woman approaching, her robes embroidered with symbols of an old and forgotten sect. She knelt before him, her head bowed in reverence. "Master Xianliang," she whispered, The shadows stir once more. The war may be over, but the true enemy has yet to reveal itself. Xian Liang's eyes narrowed. He had sensed an unease in the air, a tension that had not lifted despite Bai Zhan's fall. He gestured for the woman to continue, and she told him of a hidden force that had manipulated Bai Zhan from the shadows. The true darkness, she said, lies in the hands of those who seek to control fate itself. His grip tightened around the hilt of the Zhanlu divine sword. He had thought his journey was at an end, but fate had other plans. Rising to his feet, he nodded to the woman. Then we must act before the darkness consumes the land once more. Lead the way. And so, with the wind carrying whispers of a new battle on the horizon, Xian Liang stepped forward, ready to wield the Zhanlu divine sword against the unseen enemy that awaited. Their journey led them deep into the mist-shrouded mountains, where few dared to tread. The woman, who introduced herself as Lin Yu, spoke of an ancient order known as the Shadow Sect, an elusive group said to have influenced the tides of war for centuries. Legends claimed they were the true architects of chaos, working from the darkness to shape the fate of empires. As they traversed the treacherous paths, Xian Liang's senses sharpened. He could feel unseen eyes watching them, the weight of an invisible presence pressing against his mind. Each step forward felt heavier, as if the land itself resisted their passage. One night, as they camped near a river, a shadow moved in the trees. Xian Liang's hand flew to his sword, and in the blink of an eye he struck. A dagger clashed against the Zhanlu divine sword's blade, sparks flying into the night. From the darkness emerged a figure clad in black, their face obscured by a silver mask. More shadows followed, encircling them. "You should not have come here," the masked warrior said, their voice a low whisper. "The Shadow Sect does not welcome intruders." Xian Liang did not falter. He stepped forward, his eyes burning with unwavering resolve. "Then I will carve my own welcome." The night erupted into a whirlwind of steel and fire as Xian Liang unleashed the full power of the Zhanlu divine sword, the battle for fate itself beginning anew.